holy musical introductions. This is Flight Check Season 3, Episode 1. We have returned from the great unknown, like many before us, to bring you FlyQuest and LCS-related content once again back on your screens on a Twitch stream near you. My name, as always, is Sandy Toes, and to my left and my extra left, back again for Season 3, it is Noxwar and Curly Double Q. Fellas, we're back. LCS kickoff event starts tomorrow, and with barely any notice from the LCS about it anyway, and LCS itself starts in a couple weeks. I'm ready. Nox, how are you feeling? We've got Boomers versus Zoomers tomorrow. So how are you feeling about that?
I mean, I'm excited because it is league content, right? That's about the only reason I'm excited for it. Everything else about it has just been an absolute slog to get to. But at the end of the day, it is League of Legends content. It is North American content. So I'll happily take it, but getting there has been rough.
That is for sure. Curly, I was worried there for a moment because you froze on my screen. And I was like, no.
My internet...
Here we go.
My internet doesn't get the program that we need to be ready for the new season of Flight Check.
Before I ask you how you've been, I will note, folks, I'm still trying to troubleshoot the internet issues that were plaguing me at the end of last season, so please bear with us. If the stream suddenly dies, wait a couple minutes and my internet should return, and we'll be back to the show. But until then, hopefully that does not occur tonight. So far I have zero dropped frames, so things are...
So far we're good.
Going good, and hey, if you're an audio listener, you've got nothing to worry about because I'll just edit that out, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. But Curly...
At all. Yeah.
Tell me about your holidays, where you've been, what you've been up to, and are you excited about this Boomers v Zoomers event?
Oh, man. Well, holidays, like, they were a bit slow for me, but also kind of went by like nothing. Because, like, after our last show, it was just like, all right, well, then I just got nothing going on that next couple of weeks aside from bartending. And then I had a hell of a time getting home for the holidays because of, I head back to New York and my trains go through Buffalo, so they got canceled. So had a hell of a trip home, but I figured it out. I was able to get there for the holidays. And then, like, yeah, I've just been patiently waiting on some more league content and all that stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited for Zoomers versus Boomers. Especially, I love the names of them. Definitely rooting Team Zoomers because we've got Spica, and just also I kind of like the team overall a little bit more than Zoomers. So that's really fun. And then also I always love the new aesthetics whenever they make season announcements. Like that blue and yellow, honestly, it's really cool. I'm here for it.
It's not too
pretty
shabby.
nice. It's pretty nice. It's a fun vibe, and it's got me energized. The only thing I wish is that I had a bit more information of when we're getting more LCS.
Right. If only they would pass us the critical information, such as, what the schedule is, any kind of hype at all. Literally the only thing that LCS has done is just one tweet today saying, hey, here's the Boomers v Zoomers roster. Oh, and then a follow-up tweet saying, oh, sorry, Stixay is sick, so it'll be Array instead. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys, for all that information. Really appreciate the less than 24 hours notice. And also the fact that it's in the middle of the day and no one will be able to watch. So there's that. Nox, how are you feeling about this event? What does it starts at like 11 a.m. Pacific time? So like, or something crazy like that?
It starts at like 2 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock my time, and then like 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is
time.
So unless you're working from home and can second screen this, or you're randomly off, or you work a weird schedule, then you are not watching this event whatsoever. Not to mention, it has not been hyped up by the LCS at all. So, off to a great start for Season 13. Good job, LCS. But we've got our own Season 3 to talk about, and I'm going to take a moment here and do a little state of the show for you all. So, a few things that we're going to get into this season that we can promise you. So, first of all, the state of our show is strong. Things are looking good. We've appreciated all the folks who have subscribed to us over the last year and a half or so. I think we started this show, it was like March or April of 2021. So we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary, which is absolutely crazy. I think
14th, if you want the exact date.
Yeah. So, there you go. We broke, these are like small, tiny things, right? But like we broke 100 subscribers on YouTube. We're past, like 125 followers on Twitch. We've got like 350 plus followers on Twitter. Like these are really small things maybe for everyone else to see, but for us, it's just crazy that there's that many people who are legitimately interested in the content that we are putting out, and we are so grateful for everyone who tunes in on a regular basis. Even if this is your first time tuning into the show, welcome. And here's what I am very excited to promise is going to be rolling out over the next few months as I really crack down on some of these things. Emotes for subs. Long overdue, but we will be giving subs some rewards for giving us their money. It is the least we can do in return. So that'll include, classic sub rewards such as a certain role in our Discord, emotes that you can use, and I think I'm gonna be looking at just various ways that we can reward subs, maybe a little bit more. Obviously, look, I'll be transparent. Maybe more incentive for people to subscribe. Use those capitalistic marketing, strategies that are out there. Beyond that, in terms of the Discord itself, it's pretty good. There's a lot of good folks in there, a lot of good discussion, but it desperately needs to be reorganized. I threw it together very fast when this whole show started, and there's been some bits and pieces that have come together. But I'm going to be deeply reorganizing it, getting some bots in there, making it looking really professional and all that, so you guys can look forward to that.
We already have Hooli in there.
I know. Hooli is already in there, our resident human bot hybrid, whatever he is. And then finally, a couple other things. So, looking at the things. So, hey, tonight I figured out how to do pre-show music. So that was actually something I was trying to do all last year. Couldn't do, but it was great. It worked out tonight. Getting better internet for myself so that we stop having random drops in the middle of shows. And then a few other things. We're going to be doing a lot more segments this year. Some more bits. I'm going to be a little bit more on the creative side in terms of my hosting so that we can just make the show a bit more entertaining, a bit more structured. And we will be putting all that together. And there's a few more things out there that I'm not really ready to announce or talk about just yet because I don't want to get people too overhyped.
Is it that we're all going on Hot Ones? Is that what it is?
Yes. I'm actually sending both of you your own Hot Ones box, and we're going to do it live on the show. No, we're not doing Hot Ones. But, hey, maybe... Look, if we get 50 subs at the same time, we'll do Hot Ones. How about that? If we get 50 subs...
I'm here for it.
If we get 50 subs, if I see the button... Right now it says 4 subscribers. If I see it say 50 subscribers ever, we will do Hot Ones. This live on air, and you all can enjoy that. All right. That is the state of the show.
Who do you think would make the farthest? Who do you think would make it the farthest?
Honestly, I'm kind of betting on myself because I will get very intensely competitive about it, And I'm like, I will just refuse to break. I will refuse to break.
You know, I'm going to give it to Sandy on this one, actually.
I'm upset because 2 years ago I would bet on myself, but
Mm.
I've seen a decrease in my like spice tolerance in the last couple of years. It's very disappointing. So you might have this one,
You
Sandy.
really hate to see it. All right.
You do. It's unfortunate.
Moving on to our first real topic of the evening. What's the deal with the LCS? What is going on, Knox? We have multiple departures from the LCS broadcast. Freak announced his departure. Pastry Time, I think this was back when we were still in the middle of Season 2. And then just in the last week, Dash announced that he would not be returning as the full-time host. It was kind of ambiguous what he meant by that. It sounded like he would still be on the broadcast here and there in bits and pieces, but it looked like it was not his own choice. And it looked like...
Supposedly it was not Pastry Times either. I don't know if you saw that tweet or not.
Oh, I must have missed that as well. So, there's a lot of dialogue about this. David Shynook has been all over Twitter about it. All the insiders want you to believe that Riot cares about the LCS. All the visual indications, all the empirical evidence does not look good. Freak moving on, Dash being kind of pushed out, no constant hosting role. If you count it, the only play-by-play person you have remaining is Captain Flowers. And there is, I will say, there is La Tigress as well. She is a very competent play-by-play person, and she was doing some at the end of 2022 summer. But you have two known play-by-play people. You have like 2 or 3 known color casters, and you don't really have anyone else. You know, is this the time to bring up the Path to LCS people? What's your perspective on this? Because I think from the outside, this looks really difficult as an LCS fan to say things are great for the LCS. People are leaving. The time slot sucks. So what is happening with the LCS from your perspective?
Well, clearly, and there's nothing else to stop this from happening. It's clearly Valorant. Valorant is the new upcoming baby, just stealing away the LCS from everyone. Riot said, F you MOBAs, F you League of Legends, it's done, it's over with. Valorant's our new baby, we're going to take care of it. And that's all there is to it. Sorry. End of story. No. Don't get me wrong, I like, as much as Riot says that Valorant and like other people in the scene say that Valorant does not have anything to do with this, I don't believe it, but I also don't think it's to the point where it is literally causing all of these issues. Like, Valorant very much played a factor in it. Valorant is getting very good time slots for Valorant and VCT Americas. Like, there's no way, like, Valorant was not factored into these changes. I just don't think it's as big as a lot of people were kind of making it out to be. Along with that, I think, and I don't know how much it's really truly been talked about, but I think the LCS made a very, 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 very bad mistake in getting invested into FTX. They were owed, I think it was another $6 million for 2022 that they were not paid, and plenty more throughout, I think it was 2028. So there's tons of money that Riot was like expecting to build upon and have, and so on and so forth, that they no longer are getting. All while the third thing that's happening is that the entirety of esports, not even just LoL esports, but the entirety of esports is going through a recession right now. So basically everyone is poor, and Riot is going, oh shit, hit the emergency stop button. We need to cut down all of our costs where we can. So goodbye Dash, goodbye normal weekend time slot, goodbye like a lot of the other general stuff that we've seen going on, and just here's the new LCS on a time frame where we are literally maximizing viewers, which, based off of all the data that I've heard from Papa Smithy talking about, I've heard from Tim Magic 7 Houston talking about, etc. It seems like the stats are there. I know everyone's very, very critical about the idea of like there's not going to be viewers. It's not catered towards North America. You're correct, it's not catered towards North America, but I think actually Riot may be onto something that they may have enough viewers between Europe and East Coast combined that it may be a higher viewer count than if it were just dedicated to North America. But the problem is that's a very short-term Band-Aid fix because then you're no longer catering towards your main North American audience base, and eventually investment in the scene is just going to die out because at the end of the day, it's not a European scene, it's a North American scene. So take all that jumbled crap that I just said very, very fast in a monologue type manner, and that's your reasoning. There you go.
There you go. I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of various factors. I'm glad you brought up the FTX stuff because I don't think that's getting talked about enough. That the LCS invested heavily in that deal. They were really counting on it, I think, to help fund a lot of things. And now that that's gone, they're kind of stuck with their hands tied, having to figure out what their backup plan is. And it seems like they did not have a backup plan to begin with. So that's certainly troubling. Curly, how are you feeling about where the LCS is going? You know, the time slot, all this stuff. Because all this information, I think, came out either, like, right at the end of our Season 2 or, like, right after.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. We haven't really had a good chance to discuss this out.
My big thing about it is, like, we get the weirdest bits of information. Like, I think the poorest part of everything about this has been the communication aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Like, it feels to me like whatever communication department they have is, like, either hands tied, not getting approval for things, or, like, tiny, like, hell, if they just told, they could just tell Parker what's going on, and Parker would be able to take care of everything. But they don't. They like have. It seems like there's a lack of publication from the LCS itself, and I think that's where a lot of this is falling short because it's like we get tiny random bits of information. Like we get Dash making a letter that he's not involved in the LCS because things are changing, but we have no hint as to what that change is. Like, is it a good change or a bad change? Because if it's a good change and we have some tidbit of what that might be, suddenly I'm a little bit more okay with it because I'm like, okay, I'm wary, but like. I know what I might be getting into. No, you just find out there's not going to be consistent hosts. That's doesn't elaborate much, and then you find out pastry times like it's just the way we're getting information is making everything worse. Whereas I think if there was consistent, open, like dialogue from the LCS, their Twitter is consistently active. Like even they were even late and very minimal about the information with tomorrow with the kickoff thing.
Yeah.
Where, like we were the last league to tweet our rosters. There's very little about it. Because we don't know what talent is involved, there's not much talent corroboration of it. Whereas the second LEC put everything out there, you have Quickshot retweeting it. You have you have everyone getting into it.
The only person we know that's doing the event tomorrow is Captain Flowers, and that's because he made a tweet saying, "Hey, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. See you guys tomorrow."
Exactly. So it's like, I think that's the biggest problem with all this, because maybe at the end of the day, even though we think the time slot's weird, and we don't know what the new LCS is going to look like, maybe the new product might be better. Mm-hmm. It's just the setup for it is so terrible. Like if I were taking a PR course right now, and I was like doing a capstone in this, and I had to do a case study of bad PR, I think this would be it. And like I want to roast, like I don't want to just dog on LCS because everyone's been doing that, but I think it's like it is something that they need to acknowledge, because if we have better communication from them over everything, even things we don't like, it makes it all better. But so that's where the biggest fix I think should be is like no matter what product they're putting out, tell us what's happening, please. Don't leave us in the dark.
Yeah, I think that is also one of the more frustrating aspects for me is the absolutely awful communication from the LCS over this offseason. The time slot thing was, first of all, let's look back at that delivery of that messaging. Riot Global puts out the fact that LCS and what time all the leagues are going to be playing on at various times. And all the other leagues have instant responses or, their follow-up posts saying, like, hey, this is our side of it. The LCS took 8 hours to drop their statement about the whole thing after Riot Global, dropped theirs. That just shows me that there's no coordination amongst the various Riot teams. It makes no sense to wait 8 hours to do the follow-up. Hey, this is why we have all this data, and they tried to justify. But here's the problem: they say, like, the data really shows that we'll get peak viewership at XYZ times. Okay, then show us the actual numbers. Like, just show us the numbers. It's not that difficult, and it might make people come on board a bit more if you're willing to just literally show some of the data instead of telling us what the data says. It might be more believable. And then the other problem is that the announcement got dropped, and then Riot goes on vacation for 2 weeks. And, that's just very poor timing, poor planning.
It very much reminded me, and you would know this especially being in DC, Sandy, but it very much reminded me of, like, the Friday effect.
Oh, yeah, where, like, corporations, organizations, whatever, they drop their news at 5 p.m. on a Friday, and then yeet, we're out of here for the weekend. That's exactly what it felt like. You're totally correct. And then this kickoff event just really exaggerated the issue because it's literally tomorrow. It is in less than 16 hours now. And not a single bit of information about it until earlier this afternoon. I think it was like around 1 o'clock that they dropped something about it. So that's barely 24 hours advance notice. It's frustrating to hear the message, oh, we really care about the LCS and it doing well, when they can't do the most basic things to, show. Okay, so here, I can come up with an excuse for them. That's why it took a while. They had trouble locking down rosters for the Boomers v Zoomers event. Okay, sure.
That's a rough excuse, but we'll play it out, sure.
Sure. Okay, so then why did you have trouble? Is it because you waited until the last minute to try to lock these players down? Instead of maybe, like, I don't know, going to the players back in early December and saying, hey, we're doing this Boomers v Zoomers event. Who wants in? And then you lock your 10 guys, and boom, it's taken care of. It's December 6th. You schedule the tweet for January 3rd, and then you go on your 2-week vacation. This is not difficult stuff. I am not a professional social media person. I was working from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. this afternoon. I scheduled the tweets for the FlyQuest Season 3 announcement, hours before I went to work. And then I went to work, and the tweets went out. This is not difficult stuff. I'm sorry, Riot. It's not hard to schedule a tweet. It's not hard to get these people together. Why is it so difficult for you? Well, Season 3 is starting off with a bang, folks. Oh, my gosh.
I've heard you go on, Sandy.
Oh my goodness.
I do not...
Season 3 is starting with the rant episode. That's all this is.
I'm going to hop on Hotline League, and just my take tonight is going to be, as an amateur social media manager, this shit is not hard. So, okay.
Oh, man.
All right, we're moving on. Do you guys have any final thoughts on why the LCS is so bad at communicating?
I think you summarized it pretty damn well there, Sandy. I can't add much more to it.
Part of something I missed in the State of the Show announcement earlier is more rants, more rage. More true.
No more Mr. Nice flight check.
More true honesty with our emotions and our feelings. That's something I'm working on in my personal life, and I'm bringing it to Flight Check. More honesty with my emotions.
Hashtag showcase your greatest rants.
Yeah, showcase great rants. All right, we're moving on. Here is the most important topic of the night. Actually, I think Knox disagrees. I think the topic after this is, in his mind, the most important one.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. This could get good.
Here is the mainstream most important topic of the night. How far will FlyQuest go this year? This is not our... This is not our, like, power rankings or, you know, predictions or anything like that. This is more of a general, what are we looking at realistically, MSI, Worlds, Spring Championship, Summer Championship, what should people be expecting? We're laying the groundwork now. And we're going to get that discussion started. And no, Sonica really calling me out here for not typing out the topic in the topic line. We're in the copy-paste world now. The topics are ready to go. We're structured. Season 3 Flight Check is a whole different beast. Curly, how far is FlyQuest going this year? How far is FlyQuest going?
I'm going to start off with a bang. I'm going to go for all the hype. We are going to be at both international events, which means we have to win Spring LCS. You heard it here first. We are winning Spring LCS. So we're going to be the MSI representatives. We are going to be at Worlds.
Love it.
And I have an itching feeling that much like our last Worlds showing, we are going to be the statistically best performing NA team. Now, granted, does that mean we're going to get out of groups? We'll see how I feel about the regions at the time. I'm not going to shoot for that yet. I have to assess everyone else. But we're going to go far, kid. You know? I think it's going to be
I love the confidence.
One of the most... Yeah, and I think it's like... It might also be because earlier I had to do a VO hyping up FlyQuest anyway. And so I'm just like, yeah, these guys are great. Everything's going to go amazingly. It's going to be fantastic, like wonderful. We're going all the way. So that's what I think it is. That's my prediction for the season. I don't think I need to elaborate it anymore. Huzzah.
No, I love it. Knox, how about you? I think the popular sentiment, right, would be, oh, this is a Worlds team for sure. Oh, they should contend for, you know, attending MSI, yada, yada, yada. So that's my second Seinfeld reference tonight. Fun's just getting started. So, I mean, where are you landing on that spectrum of possibility?
So, he's back. I did a very quick Nox Talks on Saturday, I believe. And in that Nox Talks, with the few people that we had there, Rhodes specifically asked me, how far do I think FlyQuest is going to go? And what I said at the time, and I'm going to continue to say now, is that no matter what, at minimum, spring is finals. I expect a first place, but minimum expectation is, I need to see FlyQuest in finals. The squad we have on paper is just too good. It is too good. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, but possible synergy issues, possible just maybe not being able to read the meta. Did you see, like, our squad on paper last year was not all that amazing, right? But the synergy was pretty good considering what Sharks could do with that squad. The whole idea of Hakuna Matata and being able to work together and having this great environment to work in, Sharks is still there. He's in the new head of coaching position, not head coach, head of coaching. And then we have Coach Song, who just came in from winning the freaking World Championship. Like, everything is in place to make sure this roster is at bare minimum, like, finals. That is by bare minimum expectations. And I'm honestly expecting a first place just like Curly is. And, I mean, come summer, who knows? Maybe teams make changes and so on and so forth. But I'm also expecting Worlds at bare minimum. And if teams stay the same, I'm expecting another first place there. This team is finally going to bring what Nick said should have happened in 2020. This team is going to make FlyQuest a dynasty in the LCS, assuming the LCS does not die. But that's a separate topic.
As long as the land is there, we will rule over it.
As
Exactly.
As long as there's something to conquer, FlyQuest will conquer it. I think I'm in agreement with you guys. At minimum, oh man, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So I'm not going to say at minimum. I retract the at minimum. I retract it. But I will say I do expect this team to make at least one finals, whether it be it spring or summer. And I do expect them to win that finals, the at least one they're in.
I like the vague confidence.
It's vague. It's confidence, but it's vague confidence. That's, I operate in. I don't operate in absolutes. I operate in like near certainty, right? Like I'm near certain that we will make one finals. But I
99.9% confidence rate.
Exactly. Repeating, of course. And then I do expect this team to make Worlds. I think it's that talented, and I think that the rest of the LCS didn't make a whole ton of like upgrades. Like, we were the team to make the big splashy imports this year. So for me, I think the World's appearance is on the table. I'd be very excited with an MSI appearance, of course, but I'm not going to be disappointed or discouraged if that doesn't happen. But I do think that top 3 should be the aim for this team, for the franchise, for the org. So there's that. That is my take on it. Knox, I do want to ask you, do you think the community is overhyping this team a bit too much? Because it does feel like a lot of people have just kind of written them in as, yep, top 2, MSI rep, one of the World's reps. Do you think, is that a dangerous place for this team to be in? FlyQuest is not used to, we are not used to this team being like the favorite, right? Even like 2020.
Even in 2020, yeah,
even
we were never
2020,
favored in 2020.
we were always the bridesmaid, right? We were never the bride.
We were never the bride. Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you feel like the community is overhyping us too much? How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's possible. Because here's the problem. I'm going to give a biased answer on this because if the community is overhyping them, I'm in the overhyping crowd. I'm very much on board with this team. I'm very much saying that they should be taking first place. Like, it's hard to say, oh yeah, no, they're not overhyping, because I like to try and be based. I like to try and say I'm logical and like respecting all opinions and all considerations of where the team should place, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I legitimately think this team should be a first place team. So if I think they're overhyping, then I'm overhyping, and that's not a good thing. So I'm going to say no. I think everyone is exactly where they should be, and they're all super logical based and super smart, just like me.
There you go. Curly, what are your thoughts on that? On kind of the community? Are they overhyping us? That kind of thing.
I will say this, as to not be a hypocrite from previous years where we haven't been in this. I will say is the chance that things are a bit overhyped, because I've seen, luckily I've only heard the term super team used very like once or twice, not a consistent thing, which makes me so happy, because it's not actually a super team. It's not like getting these legacy players, bringing them together, be like, this should be unstoppable. It's just getting a bunch of players from different places like, oh shit, this is really good. It's
right.
Well constructed. It's not, okay, we're gonna spend all our money on a super team.
Right.
So I'd say there is a chance that there is a bit of overhype. This team, obviously, like, it's not infallible. Like, there's a slim chance that it could be, because the only team that's ever been close to anything like that is Samsung Blue back in, what was it, 14, 15? Like, that's the only team
2014, yeah.
Yeah.
in the entirety
Good reference.
of global LOL esports that was considered infallible and then pretty much was.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like statistically improbable to not have a fuck up here or there. Pardon my language.
Yeah. I know people are very excited about this team, but there's been a lot of, and look, of course I'm excited about a really good looking FlyQuest roster.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of teams that over the years that folks have been excited about coming out of LCS, coming out of NA. They go into Worlds, and Worlds is obviously 10 months away, but like they go into Worlds and then they go 3-3, and that's about it. And
yeah,
and it's just a disappointment. Now, I would argue no one was really super excited about the teams we sent to Worlds this past November. None of those teams were particularly exciting, but I think we all were still disappointed nevertheless. But I think it's going to be an interesting storyline, really interesting narrative to watch this year. And you know what? The best part is that we get to cover it all year long because it is literally our team. We get to cover the overwhelming consensus favorite for LCS, and we're riding or dying with them. It's, sink or swim. LCS is kicking off in like 2 weeks, and we'll be there to support them all the way through. Every Thursday and Friday, apparently. That's what we'll be doing. So I'm excited to see how far this team goes, and I think there's a lot they can do. All right. It's time.
Kind of nice to be able
nice.
to cheer on the team, knowing like this is a fan, not even a fan favorite. This is like a analytical favorite. Like we started in 2021 when the team was at its like lowest.
Yeah.
And we slowly worked our way to here. It's like, I don't know. It feels good, man. It just feels.
That's how you know we're true fans.
It's like
you stick by when it gets tough.
Yeah, we've been rewarded for our time served.
Time served. We were in FlyQuest prison all these years, and now we're finally.
I was thinking about like army vets or something like that.
Oh, that works too.
Okay,
we're getting paid out for it. All right, here comes Nox's favorite topic of the evening. He forces me and Curly to power rank the NACL teams, even though we are completely unprepared for this and truly have no idea what we're doing. So,
dude, do you want me to link you a spreadsheet really quick in Discord?
I need the rosters so badly.
Is it not on Lolpedia yet?
It is, except for, and I'll get into this here in a little bit, every team except for FlyFAM.
But we kind of
Lol.
That's been leaked, so
it has been leaked. Yes.
All right. Well,
the roster's not on Leaguepedia.
All right. Well, everyone else is on Leaguepedia, so I know what the FlyFam roster is, so we'll go with that. Except TSM Academy.
We don't know the mid laner yet, but I mean we pretty much know the rest.
I thought it was gonna be Triple.
Triple was released after some a twit logger was dropped, in which case you can go read that on your own time. But yeah, there was a twit logger dropped, and TSM released Triple very quickly after.
Oh, yikes. Okay, did not. All right, we'll move on from that. So,
also, did Curly freeze? Hold on, I'm checking. Good, Curly?
Yeah, your Google Docs made my
Oh
computer.
no!
It scared my computer.
Oh, okay, my bad.
We're good though. We're okay. We're stabilizing.
All right. The way I figured we could do this really quick is I can just add you guys into the sheet, and then that way, like, I'm keeping track of everything you say, and we can just like read it down the line at the end. Does that work? All right.
For me.
So we're gonna do it pretty quick. Just that way we're not taking too long, because I'm sure you guys don't know every single little detail there is about every single roster, right? So,
no, I do not.
You guys want to start from the bottom or the top?
Let's go bottom to top, baby.
All right. Who do you guys think will be last place in the NACL?
Cincinnati Fear.
Cincinnati Fear. All right.
Hands down.
So,
Like literally just from seeing their organization.
So basically off the Pukar stuff that happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think their players are still
I think their players are pretty good.
I think their players are still
Actually, it's a
good. So
legit team.
I'm gonna go along with what the OE Discord has, and I'm gonna go with Wildcard Gaming as my bottom team.
Oh, you're gonna copy OE? Okay, fine. All right, 15th. Who is finishing above Cincinnati Fear for Curly and Wildcard Gaming?
And I will note, I don't have this out in like a Excel sheet because I haven't set this up. I haven't set up the flight check presentation scene for this.
I kind of dropped this. I kind of dropped this on Sandy and Curly last minute.
No,
I really wanted
good.
to do this.
It's a great segment, so we're doing it.
I will screenshot it and post it in the Discord later.
Excellent, perfect, and I'll post that on Twitter. We gotta like rapid fire these. From here...
Okay, I'm gonna shoot at wildcard 15th for me.
Okay. Wildcard 15th for Curly.
Yeah,
Sandy?
I'm gonna go with CLG Faith.
CLG Faith.
I know
I'm
still kind of copying OE a little bit, but
for what it's worth, I have CLG Faith in last, so you're not too far off. All right, 14th.
CLG Faith.
Okay.
I have TL first.
TL first. Okay.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, pretty much all the discussion I've heard with people and I've had with people is pretty much all the provisional teams are very interchangeable outside of like one.
Yeah.
All right, 13th.
FlyFam. Gonna put FlyFam.
FlyFam coming in.
I'm also putting FlyFam at 13th.
So, real quick, while we're on the topic of FlyFam, this has not been announced yet.
Yes,
but
let's talk about this.
It has been leaked via LCS EV, so I feel like it is worthy enough for us to talk about very briefly.
Yes.
So, for those of you who are not in the know, the rumored, quote unquote, roster for the FlyFam amateur roster is Lunacia in the top lane, Goo in the jungle, Blaze the mid laner, Instinct as the AD carry, and then last but not least in the support position is Sword. A lot of people basically are just
a lot is the thing.
The bot lane is probably the most solid part of this. The top and jungle is very much the weak side, but I also think for me personally it is the most developmental side. So I'm very much okay with it. A lot of people are calling this like 100x.2 because a lot of these are old X 100x members. So attribute that to Papa Smith if you want. I don't know how much work was actually put into it being because of Papa Smithy, so on and so forth. But I mean, at the end of the day, Papa's always had a very good hands-on approach when it comes to amateur. So I have a lot of faith in what this roster's come together. And at the same time, I'm sure Nick did a great job in scouting with Loyoda for this as well. So
yep, absolutely.
I think they're currently, I think I'm on the same boat as you guys, if I remember. No, I have TL first over FlyFam, but either way, like I said, they're all very interchangeable. So I think no matter what, I'll be happy as long as they're not last.
Yep.
You guys have any final comments on FlyFam or?
No, I think you
excited for the announcement.
I'm excited for the announcement. Yes. I'm really excited to see Instinct and Sword, and then the scouting that Brendan has done over the years for FlyQuest has been really, really good. So I am confident in his ability to pull out players and find some real diamonds in the rough. So I'm excited to see what Lunacia and Goo can do. That rhymed. So yeah, I'm excited for this team. I know I just put them as 13th, but I mean, in relation to the rest of these teams in NACL, I mean, I think that's totally fine. My hope for them is that they are like top 2, top 3 out of the provisional teams. So
yeah, and more than fair to hope for, especially if they get top 2, because that means they don't have to go through the promotion relegation tournament that happens later on at the end of the split.
Indeed.
Last thing I'll mention really quick is coaches for this are Coach Julius, who I am very sorry, I'm blanking on his ex-teams. And then a relatively old name that people who've been around in the scene for a while will know, but Brandini, who was also coaching for CLG last split, is also now joining as head coach as well. So both of those guys, I think I have a lot of faith in. They're both very, very smart dudes. So, yeah.
Totally.
Edgy Hoon is saying he was originally the Cincinnati Fear coach.
Oh.
So, yes, he is pretty damn pog for sure, because Cincinnati Fear was very, very good last year.
Yep. All right. For my 12, I have Cincinnati Fear.
Okay.
I think the team is still pretty good. Even with the weird coach stuff, I think the players will be fine. So...
I'm kind of on the same boat as you on that one, Sandy. I originally had them higher, but after the coach situation, I docked them, but they're still up there in terms of provisional teams.
Yeah.
What you got, Curly?
I'm gonna put TL first as 12th.
All right. TL first. 11th, the last spot before we get into the top 10. So here's where a lot of people start debating. Do you predict for a provisional team to break into the top 10, or is AOE going into the slot?
No, I'm trying to pick what...
I'm thinking a challenger team is going.
I'm trying to pick what academy team I'm putting at 11.
Challenger. Gotta switch up that terminology, bro.
Challenger, challengers, academy, tier 2.
There's
a lot of people putting TSM here.
Which is just weird to me. Like, those players are good.
They're good, and what a lot of people are considering, though, is that this TSM team supposedly is not living in LA. They are not having a dedicated practice room. They have a coach, quote unquote, but they're not really coaching. The only reason
there also is a question mark mid laner. I guess until they solve that mid laner, I guess by default I have to put them 11th.
Curly is putting TSM in 11th. All right.
This is going to be controversial. I'm putting Immortals at 11th.
Really?
That was my next one. That was my next one. Like that, I was thinking about it.
So it's very interesting. I originally had Immortals ranked 11th as well. I changed that, and I'll go over it here in a little bit. But I moved them up later on. But by all means, it's completely fair to put them there. A lot of people actually have them fairly ranked that low.
Yeah.
Well, Immortals is going to be my 10th, so.
Okay, so Curly's got Immortals in 10th.
I think I'm going to put... I'm going to put Golden Guardians 10th.
Wow, okay. So, funnily enough, you and I think... Yeah, you and I are matched on Golden Guardians. I also have Golden Guardians 10th.
Yeah.
All right, so at this point, both of you have AoE breaking into the top 9.
Yes. I'm aware that I'm doing this.
Okay.
That's where I'm putting them, right at 9.
I know exactly where they're going because I know my 9 and my 8. So my 9 is TSM and my 8 is AoE. So.
Okay.
Wow.
A lot of AoE faith. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
See, my 8 is going to be... Oh my god, who did I have next? I completely blanked on it because you just shook me. Wow.
Is it Golden Guardians or is it someone else?
It was going to be Golden Guardians. I hadn't placed them yet. I forgot that I hadn't placed them yet.
Oh,
all right.
Thank you. You're putting this into the...
I have it in the spreadsheet, so that way I'll screenshot it later.
All right. Who do I have?
So going into 7 now. 7. Who do I have
going
left?
into 7.
Let's just let's put Diggy. Let's put Dignitas there. Yeah.
Dignitas with our old bot lane, by the way. They now have Tomo and Diamond.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put. I'm gonna put Liquid.
Really?
At 7.
Team Liquid in 7th.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I'm giving you crap, Sandy, and I look over at mine and I also have them in 7th.
Like, really? My exact choice. Aha! You're crazy.
I've got you now.
It's funny because I thinking back on it, like I am a big fan of Bradley rather, and I'm a big fan of APA. And so I just like both of those guys combined in my head. I'm like, dang, they got to be high up. And it's like, no, they have Kim down, who's probably one of the most questionable supports in the league that's not on a provisional team. They have Arrow, which is always just been like lately he's just been okay. And then they got Murr, which was originally Arthur, who has always just kind of been okay, if not really not that great. So
and for that reason, they're my sixth place.
Okay, so Curly's got Team Liquid in sixth.
That's where I am putting Dignitas.
Dignitas. So, all right, you guys ready for my hot take?
Sure.
Drop it.
I put FlyQuest in sixth.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
It's reasonable.
So, it's very interesting though. So Colomer, who is currently the head GM slash not CEO, the head GM of Native, who is a open qualifier team. Smacks, who is one of the amateur casters, as well as Alt Battery, who's also very much in the amateur scene, does casting, does a lot of behind the scene production stuff. They did their own podcast, I want to say sometime late last week. And all three of them, no, sorry, 2 out of the 3 of them had them FlyQuest ranked in first, and the other one had them ranked in third. So it was very funny because I was kind of like talking with them, and they're like, "You have them in 6th," and then I was like, "You guys have them in 1st and 3rd." So I'll be very curious to see where you guys put them.
Totally.
All right.
I've actually figured out the rest of my rankings.
All right.
Okay.
So
I think I have mine as well.
All right, let's do it. 5th.
C9.
CLG.
So Cloud9 and 5th for Curly, CLG for Sandy. Where'd CLG go? There we go. Okay.
4th is FlyQuest.
4th is FlyQuest. Okay, I respect it. Curly?
EG.
Evil Geniuses. Okay. That's actually kind of a bold take. No one's predicting EG outside of the top 3, but I also respect it, though. All right, 3rd place. Who's making it?
EG for me.
Evil Geniuses. Okay. Curly?
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves. Oh, it sounds like you're on board with all the amateur analysts. Okay. Who's taking 2nd?
Cloud9.
Cloud9. So Sandy is predicting a first place FlyQuest NACL team.
What?
No. He already put FlyQuest down.
I put FlyQuest 4th.
Never mind.
I'm predicting 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves. My bad. Sorry.
First place challenger.
Right.
I got FlyQuest 2nd, meaning CLG 1st.
See, you have CLG 1st. Interesting. So what about CLG are you hyped about?
I think a big part of it comes from Jenkins. Like, I know he's got that LCS experience, like being able to fill in a couple times. And then I know there's a lot of hype around Meech. While I haven't personally seen it, it's just like there's something like when you see a hyped up young talent bot laner that really just it pops off. And then I also know, like, from what I saw with Copy, he's also a really reliable mid laner. I think it's just like, I also think a lot of it is like I expect growing pains with FlyQuest, and I think even though Sniper is really hyped up, I think him getting to this level is still going to be a bit questionable. And so, and I don't know as much about 100 Thieves, which is why they kind of dropped down to 3rd. I think I would be on the board with the hype train if I knew a bit more about them and I had more confidence in Sniper where he's at right now. So I think it's kind of like not as much as I'm confident in CLG being 1st, but by process of elimination, I have less doubts in them than 2nd and 3rd, you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's good.
All right. We officially have the rankings. I will screenshot them and put them in our Discord later, and then Sandy said he would also post them on Twitter later, so keep an eye out for them.
They will.
Also, I just needed another reason for 100 Talk to flame me. Let's be real. New season, new ammo, bro.
They don't watch NACL anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, they don't.
So really quick, do we want to go very quickly in depth on the new NACL FlyQuest roster? Or
Yeah,
did we cover it back in season 2?
No, I don't know how much we hadn't talked about it too much, but we can quickly go over it. Because I don't think we had gotten the FlyFAM leak yet either.
Yeah, so, we hadn't.
All right, so let's do that.
Quick rundown of the NACL is we have Philip making his reappearance in the top lane.
Yep.
We have making a return Yuji, who was just an absolute beast last year.
Total monster. Absolute monster.
Skill checking everyone was fantastic. Spyrax, who slow spring but absolutely crushed it in summer and had a hell of a Korean challenger run while the team was over in Korea just a couple of days ago, honestly. I think he finished somewhere in the 1200 LP range for challenger and like top like 150. Like it was very, very good. In AD carry, we have a brand new face who I was actually very, very surprised to see, but also very happy in Masu. Masu was originally on TBA this past summer, or to be announced, or literally whatever the team name, like literally the team name was TBA. Very fun AD carry, very aggressive, one of the more aggressive amateur AD carries, and would actually push his lane opponents around. We'll see how he manages to do in the NACL because it is very much a different skill level, but I think it was very much a worthy promotion. And then following it up, we have Winsome, the original Cloud9 import, but not import support, who made his way over to Unicorns Love Sexy Edition over in the ERLs. Did very, very well in the EU Amazon Masters. I don't think he won it. He got second, right?
I do not know that off the top of my head.
No, I don't think he made
Sexy Edition should be third or fourth. They definitely made
they didn't make fun. They did very, very well, though. It was very, very respectable run. He looks a whole lot better than what he did when he first came over to North America. And I think considering what this FlyQuest, the actual FlyQuest LCS roster is, it makes sense to bring Winsome in due to being a Korean-speaking support. So that way, if for whatever reason, if Ayla unfortunately does not work out, there is at least maybe a Korean-speaking support that could maybe better support Prince in the bot lane, but we'll see. I think overall, he looks a lot better. He is exactly what FlyQuest needs as a backup, so I think it was a very, very good pickup.
Nice. No, that was a great rundown. I mean,
right.
I know we just kind of power ranked things. Realistically, what are your expectations for the FlyFAM roster? I mean, what are you looking for from them? What should we be looking out for as fans? What's your take on their general existence right now?
So I think I probably went over this back in Season 2 last year, but just very, very fast. If people don't know the format for how NACL works, is basically it's the 16 teams now, single round robin, best of twos. And at the end of that, it's all just seeding for like the new Proving Grounds tournament, rather. So it'll be the exact same thing there. The only difference is now the provisional teams, so all the new 6 amateur teams, they are technically at risk of being put into a promotion tournament if you fall into the bottom 4 of the 6. So if you were one of the top 2 amateur teams, you are safe. Doesn't even matter if it's literally 16 through 11. Like, if you're 11 and 12, you're safe. Even if you, like, say a bunch of amateur teams do very good and you literally have, like, 2, 4, 6, 7, etc. If you were, like, 7 and 8 and above a bunch of academy, or, I mean, challengers teams, like, you're still getting sent to the gulag. Sorry, sucks. It is what it is. So, basically, what a lot of these amateur teams had to do was they had to build rosters that were very much like, quote-unquote, win now. You need to win. Which is kind of reason why, like, you see, like, you were commenting earlier, you really like our bot lane, right, Sandy?
Yeah.
That's part of the win now thing. So, like, you really, like, you need to be able to pick up the wins, especially against these other provisional teams, because you don't really want to be going to the promotion tournament. So, for FlyQuest specifically, I think it's an okay split between, like, hey, let's look at Lunacia and let's look at Goo. 2 very much developmental players, as well as Blaze as well, by the way. Blaze is a fantastic mid laner. I cannot give that man enough praise. I'm very, very glad he's getting his shot on a actual, like, LCS provisional team. Like, he's so, so good. He was one of the people I was listing back whenever I was giving, like, prospects to pick up. But, like, basically the top side and mid are very much, like, amateur development, like, players, right? But then you have this bot lane who's very, very good and should be able to carry them to quite a few victories to hopefully get them into that top 2 slot amongst all the amateur teams. I think FlyFAM is just going to fall a little bit underneath it because I think AoE and Cincinnati are just above them. I really think it's going to be a fight between Team Liquid first and FlyFAM for that third spot, but I don't really see FlyFam beating Cincinnati or AOE. I think those rosters are very, very well built for at least a win now scenario.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that's a lot to look forward to, I think. With 3 different teams, we will certainly be
very busy.
Very busy. That's a good way of putting it. In keeping up with all of the matches. But we, as always, will have at least one person who's watched the games every week in order to be able
one
to.
Of us
and it will be Knoxfor.
And it will likely be Knoxfor. So at least for the NACL games, I'm gonna do my best to make sure I'm up to date on NACL this year. That is my promise to you. That is my goal, is to stay more on top of that for all kinds of things, including also our Smash guys. I know they have not had a lot going on over the last few weeks because it's been the holidays, obviously. But I do know that I believe J-Mook is coming up on another tournament real soon. I believe it might be...
It's wild to me that tournaments are already starting up. Like, it makes sense, but like, oh, wow.
I know. I want to say Genesis 9 is what he's going to be attending next. That's January 20th through the 22nd. So we won't get too into that right now because we'll have next week to kind of talk about that and preview that event. But there's some really good players that are going to be there. I'm pretty sure I'd be shocked if he... Yeah, he'll be there.
I think I was going to say, I think he's there.
He'll be there, and so will Kadoran, so we'll have both of them attending Genesis 9, which is excellent. And that, I believe, is that. Any other final things you guys want to hit on before we close out the night?
I think, let me verify really quick, but I think the NACL starts before LCS does.
That would not surprise me in the slightest.
If Leaguepedia would load for me. Come on, Leaguepedia, you can do it. So LCS starts on January 26th, and the NACL starts on, come on, Leaguepedia. Oh, of course, it's question.
Oh, wait, we actually know the start date of LCS?
Yeah, it's on January 26th is when the LCS starts, officially.
Nice.
Not tomorrow, like some people on Twitter were
weeks.
saying. Oh, so the NACL starts on the 21st.
So they got a whole 5 days.
Yeah, so the 21st, which is a Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
Which is also kind of exciting because the NACL is on the weekends now. So instead of watching LCS, we can watch the NACL.
Let's go.
Maybe I will watch more NACL this year, in that case.
So, all right. Yeah, keep an eye out for that.
There it is. All right, well... Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Season 3 premiere of Flight Check. We'll be back next week. No idea what we're going to talk about next week, but we'll find something. I'm sure something will...
We're going to talk about Speaka's performance tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Well, probably next week will be our power rankings episode, if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably.
And then we'll figure out what else is going on Flight Check-wise. For you, preview, maybe a longer preview of Genesis 9, things like that. So, in order to keep up to date on that and all of the other fun stuff that we have got coming down the pike.
Official power rankings, I can do.
Oh, I think Curly's internet is bumping in and out.
Oh, wait,
all right,
okay.
there he
is.
is.
Survived.
He's alive again.
We're alive.
All right.
We're okay.
Breaking through into my closeout. But here we go. Be sure to follow the show and ourselves on Twitter for all of our reactions and thoughts to anything that's going on LCS or FlyQuest-wise. You can catch the show. You can see it down there in the lower third at Flight Check Crew. Myself at SantosDB, Nox at Noxwar with 2 R's, and Curly at Curly_QQ_. Make sure to hop into the Flight Check Discord as well. There should be a link in the Twitch chat and also somewhere out there that you can find if you're not on the stream right now. I will be, over the next while, reorganizing that Discord, as I promised earlier tonight, and all kinds of esports discussion and otherwise takes place there, so be sure to get in there. If you miss any part of this episode, the VOD will be up on YouTube tonight or tomorrow morning, and because my internet didn't die tonight, I don't have to stitch together 2 different broadcasts, so That'll be a nice, quick, and easy upload. If you are listening to the show on one of our audio platforms, you can catch the show live if you would like. We broadcast the episode usually every Monday night, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at twitch.tv